Hi, sisters. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mallory Payne, and I'm the Purpose Wellbeing Coordinator for A Clear Vision of Life, the Wellbeing Program, a program by alumni for alumni. A Clear Vision of Life, the Wellbeing Program, is built to engage you, Alpha Zeta Delta alumni, and encourage your personal development. With me today, I have a special guest. Caitlin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Caitlin Kofer. I am a career development specialist, which is just a fancy way of saying a career counselor at Georgia Southern University. I've been doing this for about 3 years. Before that, and kind of just a little bit of background about me, I did my undergrad at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and I got a double degree in English and film. And obviously, I'm using all of it. I'm kidding. But then I also got my master's here at Georgia Southern in counseling for college students, so counseling with an emphasis in student services. And around the last semester of my internship in grad school, I worked in career services. I did not want to. I did not think it was exciting or fun or engaging. My mom actually was somebody who criticized me and said, aren't you just going to critique resumes all day? And that's not exactly what I do. After I did my internship, they were sweet enough to offer me a job. And a lot of what I do is helping students figure out what they want to do and then making an actual realistic plan to get there. So I work with a lot of students currently that want to be doctors, that want to work in public health for the CDC, and so those are big dreams. How do we get there in a realistic way? On top of that, I also teach two classes. I teach a career exploration class, which is for all majors, and it really is a easy A kind of class that helps students think through what do I want to do and how am I going to do it. And then I teach a freshman class called adulting. So trying to get those students early at the age of 18 to know how to do basic things to be an adult. That is a little bit about me.
Thanks, Caitlin, and I bet you have a lot of nuggets of wisdom to share from your time in this position, so let's jump into some of your top tips for our recent grads.
The first tip that I always tell people, and the one that I have to tell myself all the time, is that not everybody has it together. In fact, most people don't. The illusion on social media that everyone is making great salaries and starting families and living in houses with white picket fences is just that, an illusion. Of course, some people do have it together. They have these perfect lives and these wonderful things going for them, but good for them. That's great. But for the most part, though, most of anybody our age or anybody at all, really, they don't have it together, and that's okay. So the biggest thing that you can do is stop comparing yourselves to others. I can't say that enough. Stop comparing yourself to someone else. I read this book when I was graduating from college that offered up the best phrase I've ever heard for this. Good for her, not for me. Anytime you see someone succeed or have something that you want, be happy for them and be authentic about it, but then go back to your own life. That success, that job, that life wasn't for you. There's something else out there for you. I think the next biggest thing is probably to ask for help. That's something that I struggled with. I was very prideful in that. I always thought that something was, I was too proud or something was too small or I felt stupid for asking the question. But again, another quote, my favorite quote from Judy Blume, who if you grew up reading Judy Blume, you already should know this or, feel connected to this, was to stay aware, listen carefully, and yell for help when you need it. I think that's a very good life lesson, to always ask for help. Don't suffer in silence because you're too proud. See back to the first thing that I said about not comparing yourselves to others. Again, don't be too proud if you don't feel like you have it all together. Find somebody who might be able to help you with that. Ask questions. No question is too small. Look to your friends, your mentors, former professors, anyone out there that can really help you. Which leads me right into my third tip, which is to stay connected and follow up. When you meet someone new, make a point to reach out to them, to follow up on your initial meeting, and make a point to stay in touch with people, all sorts of people, the professors that you connected with, the faculty, the staff, friends, coworkers, former bosses, anybody that you meet across your life, stay connected. Also stay connected to your family. That is something that when I graduated college and then first started out into the work world and became an adult, I felt like I probably shouldn't be connected to my mom and my family so much. But I will say that the best source of advice and inspiration would be from those family members who knew you back when, and who can give you advice through those moments that you're having trouble with. Connected to that would probably be when you're connecting with people and you're following up and you're have all of these friends and mentors from across everywhere and everybody's living their own lives. Try to do more than just writing happy birthday on someone's Facebook wall. I know that that is a lot to ask. Happy Birthday is an easy resource, and I'm not saying not to do it. I do it all the time. But do more than that. Find somebody to reach out to. Maybe pick one person a week. I have a friend that does a really good job of this, of reaching out to someone once a week and letting them know that she's thinking about them, praying for them, wishing them well in whatever they're doing in their life. And I think that that's an easy thing that you can do. Okay, this fourth tip is a little hard to stomach sometimes, and especially because I am a career counselor, so I have to work with this all the time. But my advice would be to stop dreaming and start doing. Stop dreaming about what life will be when you're 40 or 50 or at the peak of your career, when you're saving the world or you're famous like Oprah or a millionaire or billionaire. That may not happen. I hope it does. I hope it does happen. But I think sometimes we get stuck in ruts where we have this hope or this dream so far away and we can't even imagine how we're going to get there. The best way to get there is to just start doing anything. Start doing things with substance, start working, even if it's not the best job ever, it could be the worst job ever. Well, then you're learning that's not what I want to do. That's not the type of person I want to work for. That's not the type of thing that I want to be filling my days. Then you can find something else, find something better, and your dream will shift a little bit. And that's good, that's fine. But that would be something that, if anything, of all of these tips, would be my advice, is just to stop dreaming just a little bit. It's okay. And to just start doing things. Okay, this fifth tip goes right along with that, because when you're dreaming, you're probably not present. So if you start doing things, you're going to be more present. You're not stuck wondering about the past or fretting about the future. The past is the past. You can't change it or go back to it or pick a different course or a different school that you could have gone to or different friends that you could have had or different significant other that you broke up with because it was awful. You can't change your course. You're on the course that you're on. All you can do is go forward. Similarly, you don't want to think too much about what will happen in the future. That's not to say that you shouldn't have goals. You should totally have goals and work towards them. And you should also have faith. Almost 100% of the things that I've worried about in my life didn't happen the way that I thought that they would happen. And the things that did happen, I overcame. You will too. This leads me right into my sixth tip, which is to stop worrying. Don't worry so much. Don't spend any time anymore worrying about what will happen. It's okay to be concerned when there are things to be concerned about, but as far as worry goes, let it go. I recently attended a church with a friend, and the pastor, he did a sermon on worrying, and he talked about how someone he talked to said that they set aside a specific time of the week on their calendar. They wrote it out and put it on the calendar that from 4 to 5 p.m. on Wednesdays, they are going to worry. So they all week would write down everything that they wanted to worry about, and then on Wednesday at 4, they planned to worry for that whole hour, and then that would be it. The thing is that every Wednesday when they got to 4 o'clock, they realized that the things they had written down throughout the week that they were worried about either didn't happen the way that they thought that they would, or they'd already resolved themselves, or it didn't matter anymore. So if you find yourself being very worryful or having a lot of worries, maybe take up that, where you write it down and you let it out somewhere in a journal, on your phone, in a voice message. I have a friend that does that, and then let it go. And then if you need to come back to it, then you come back to it. Otherwise, it's over. And just carry on and be present and continue with your life. My seventh tip is probably the one that's been the most impactful for me, and it is to seek guidance and friendship from people of all ages and from all backgrounds. Don't corner yourself into the friends you have right now or the friends that like the exact same thing that you do. Really expand your mind and expand your friendship circles. One of my dearest friends is someone who is a decade or so older than me, maybe a little older, but I'm not going to share that with you guys. And she is one of the most powerful people in my life because she really helps me navigate the things that I'm dealing with because she's already been through them before. And vice versa, the ways that we work together is that I then remind her of her roots, of the things that happened, a decade ago that she still is interested in, and we kind of bring that out in each other. Similarly, I work on a college campus, so I work with a lot of students. And while I'm not so far removed from being in college, I am, almost a decade away from some of those students. And I really love to mentor students. I had one in here right before I started talking to you guys about talking about, what she's worried about and what she's concerned about. And we really worked through that, and she walked away, hopefully feeling better about herself. And I consider her maybe not a friend, but somebody in my life that I can learn from as well. So my advice would be to surround yourself with all types of people. The 8th tip that I would probably give is to take care of your image in public forums. Social media, online, when you're out in public even, people are watching, and it's really a big deal to make sure that you are not always professional, yes, but just that's the image of yourself that you would like to portray. I do a lot of that work with our college students who are posting pictures from their beer pong tournament or out at the club, and they're very excited about it, and that is wonderful, but maybe that's not something we put out into the public world. That's something for you, and that is fine. Instead, really, do some research into what your image looks like. Maybe you don't know. Have you ever Googled yourself? That's kind of a scary thing sometimes. So what I would encourage you to do is to open up your web browser at any time, maybe right now, and go into incognito mode. I'm not sure if you know how to do that. If not, Google it. It's different depending on what computer you're using. And then open up a Google page or a search browser. And the reason why you want to go into incognito mode is because it basically deletes everything from your web browser, so it's not connecting different things. You know how when you're on Facebook, and if you searched at Ann Taylor Loft, and then all of a sudden you get on Facebook and all the ads are for the loft, right? So incognito mode washes all of that away. And what you're going to want to do is put your name in parentheses. If your name is Ashley, not parentheses, quotation marks, sorry. If your name is Ashley Smith, you're going to come up with a lot of Ashley Smiths. Probably lucky for you, you could get away with a lot more. My name is spelled a certain way, but it is Caitlin with a Y, spelled exactly like Caitlyn Jenner. So I always want to put my last name in those quotation marks. Anyway, when you search, you'll see in the images in the web browser what comes up when people Google you. That is exactly what employers, what volunteer organizations, what the new friends you meet, the new person you want to date, what they're going to see when they start looking for you. And I promise that they are going to do that. I do it. I'm guilty of it. I'm probably certain that you're over there thinking, oh yeah, I do that too. So know that going into it, and really take care of what you're presenting into the world. Speaking of the world, my final tip is to devote a slice of your energy to making the world a better place. I actually got that from a Shonda Rhimes commencement address. If you love her, watch Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, any of those shows, you might want to research that. Go to YouTube and search for her commencement address, because it is amazing, and I've watched it probably 45 times. It is a great resource. Anyway, what I mean by that is to really find something you're passionate about that you can help make the world a better place. You can contribute, because a lot has probably been given to you. Regardless of your background or where you're from, people around you have done things to make your life better. And so what I always want everybody to remember, including myself, I tell myself this all the time, is that while I'm stuck in doing things and being present and thinking about the friends that I want to have, slavery still exists in the world, and famine and sex trade and all of these different things. You don't have to pick all of those. You don't have to feed the homeless every single day, but devote something that you care about that you can then contribute to. Maybe it's doing things like helping future alumni know what is coming for them in the world, or maybe you really like kids and so you want to volunteer at a children's hospital once a week. Whatever it is, just devote some time to making the world a better place, because it needs all of us, but it starts with yourself. All right, so those are probably the biggest suggestions or tips that I have. They are by no means foolproof or perfect. I think if anything, I want everyone to know that we are all just figuring it out as we go and doing the best that we can. I hope something in all of this, though, did strike a chord in you or encourages you, and that you continue to be successful going forward.
Wow, Caitlin, that was great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your willingness to share your insights and tips for our recent grads, and I'm sure some of those will be applicable to our more seasoned alumni as well. So thank you so much again. Sisters, for more information about A Clear Vision of Life, the Wellbeing Program, please visit us on the web at alphazdelta.org and at our blog, The Inside Ink, at alphazdelta.org/blog.